Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on YouTube. Want to welcome you to the January 14th, 2023 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's my all 50s and early 60s edition on this cold day today. I mean, this weather has been kind of weird, although no snow. Got to be happy about that, but sit back for the next 3 hours for some cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Tonight, they're all requests. I had to limit it because I can't really stay on overtime. I can't really do it yet. Almost. It's going to be getting better each week. It has been getting better each week, thank God, with my parents. But I had to limit it to 3 requests. I mean, there's a couple flip sides, I think, in there that people requested last week. So, but we're limiting it to 3 because I only can play like 45 or 46 records. I used to play like 56 or 57. But I can't do that overtime, at least not yet, but I will. But welcome to the Vinyl Treasure Show. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're on every Saturday from 9 Eastern Time to midnight, and we do this, our get-together every Saturday night. I'm glad to be back here. I started last week. Some of you might not have known about that. I know, like Kenny, he didn't know that I was on, but anyway, I am. So we opened up tonight's show with a tenor saxman, Mr. Red Prysock, his 6th of 21 releases on the Mercury record label. A song he wrote, it was called Hand Clappin', was a number 4 record on WILY out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, the first time I heard this, I used to listen to WHBI, and on their Sunday lineup, I think the first show on Sunday was the Roy Adams Show, and he used to use that as a theme song, and I thought it was a pretty cool record as it was. I think it was, 105.9, I think he was on, and it was easy because they were only half-hour shows. I mean, really, how many records can you play in a half hour? John G, I couldn't do it in a half hour. But that's where I first heard this. And this song was recorded in New York City on July 8th, 1955 with, and that's actually, I was able to find the lineup on this. Blue Mitchell, he played the trumpet. Of course, Red Prysock was on tenor sax. Clarence Eugene Wright was baritone sax. Joe Oliver Blair, he was on piano. And Raymond Kitz, K-I-T-Z, was on guitar. And Herb Gordy, he was the bass, and Pernell Rice was on the drums. But I love that record there. September 55, released by Red Prysock and his orchestra on Mercury Records. Hand Clapping. We'll do the hand clapping for Johnny G as we open up the vocal portion here. This is the only record I added, the first one. Everything else is a request. So there you go. So tonight is basically an all-request show, and except for the intro and this record, as I told you, I had to limit it to three requests for tonight, and I'm only going to go to midnight. We're going to sign off exactly at midnight tonight, but this group is from Brooklyn, New York. First recording for Hiram Johnson's Johnson label, but they re-recorded this song for George Golner, and he released it on his Cindy label. It features Cleo Baker on lead. We open up the vocal portion from 1957 on the Cindy label. This is Cleo and the Crystaliers. It's called Please Be My Guy. La 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 la.
You
Yeah, we open up with Cleo and the Crystaliers, 1957, release on George Goldner's Cindy record label out of New York City. Please Be My Guy is the name of the tune. Cleo Baker, the lead singer on that. Now, this song originally released a different version, more cruder version, but actually it's not that bad, really, on the Johnson label. Very rare 45 that I still need in the collection. Now, Roy Adams did reissue it on his Arcade label sometime in the mid-1970s. That's how I really have it. But this Cindy version, a bit different. Yes, it is, as they re-recorded it. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. And this is a request for listener Mike Sape. Now, Mike Sape wanted to send this one out to Jimmy Amato, who is in our YouTube chat room, as we go to Art Sheridan's Chance record label for the great sound of the Moonglows. This is their first release on the Chance record label, their first of 5, written by group member Harvey Fuqua. It features Bobby Lester on lead. I have this on red vinyl, although it looks like it's changing color. As we know, sometimes it does, that is for sure. But Mike dedicates this to Jimmy Amato in our chat room. October 1953, we open up here with the Moonglows on Chance and their tune called Whistle My Love.
Oh, whistle my love,
whistle my pretty baby,
whistle my love,
whistle my pretty baby,
whistle my love,
whistle my pretty
whistle
baby,
my love,
whistle my pretty
baby,
baby,
and I come running to you.
Well, whistle my love, I come running to you.
Whistle my love,
Well, whistle my love, I come running to you.
whistle my love,
For I love you, baby, no matter how you do.
whistle my love,
You broke this heart and you will break mine too.
whistle my love,
You broke this heart and you will break mine too.
whistle my love,
But I still love you, baby, no matter how you do.
whistle my love, baby, won't you whistle,
Whistle
my pretty baby, just squeeze me,
Squeeze me,
my baby, just kiss me,
kiss me,
no,
my
baby, don't you leave it,
leave me, my
baby, no, I come running to you.
Whistle my love, I come running to you.
Whistle my love,
Well, whistle my love, I come running to you.
whistle my love,
For I still love you, baby, no matter how you do.
baby, won't you whistle,
Whistle my
pretty baby, just squeeze me,
squeeze me, my
my baby, just kiss me,
kiss me, my
no, baby, don't you leave me,
leave me, my
baby, no, I come running to you,
I come running to you. I come running to you. I come running to you.
That's the sound of the Moonglows by request from Mike Sabe, going out to Jimmy Amato, October 1953. The Moonglows on Chance. I think that's Red. What is it? Red Holloway's orchestra there in the background. Bobby Lester on lead, Whistle My Love. That's an expensive 45 if you're looking for that on original. Let's move into 1954. I want to thank Texas listener Jim Lampley for his nice email. Thank you, Jim, for contacting me and telling me how you found out about the Vinyl Treasures show. And here's a request for Jim as we go to Harlem, New York. This group initially recorded as the Crystals on the Luna label. You might know their release called Come to Me Darling, but they were forced to change their name because of an already existing group called the Crystals on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label. They were already established on Deluxe, so they changed their name to the Opals. This is their release on Bess Berman's Apollo record label. It features the lead of Earl Wade. This is by request for Jim Lampley, October 54, the Opals on Apollo. It's called My Heart's Desire.
That's my desire to be near you. That's all I want, is to be true. That's my desire. That's my heart's desire.
My heart's desire.
I need you, darling, close to me. If you don't want me, set me free. That's my desire. That's my heart's desire. I love you so. Oh, remember the night when you were.
I need you, darling.
Yes, close to me. Well, I need you, darling, close to me. Don't want me, set me free. That's my desire. That's my heart's desire.
That's my heart's desire.
There you go, by request. By request there for Jim Lampley, the Opals, October 1954 on the Apollo record label, My Heart's Desire. Earl Wade, the lead singer on that. We're also going to send that one out to Butch Ford and his wife. One of their favorite tunes there by the Opals on the Apollo record label. Let's continue here. Actually, Marvin, let's go back to that Moonglows record, because with the research that Charlene and I do and checking all these sites, Marvin Pod says that the lead singer on Whistle My Love is Pete Graves. So, I mean, I went to the Time Capsule Show website on YouTube, where they had, they have all those old guys singing lead and whatnot. Okay, I didn't see Bobby. It was Bobby Lester's Moonglows. Maybe I don't know if he was. I don't know who was singing lead. They didn't have the names there, but I went there looking. I said, "Is that Bobby Lester singing?" I couldn't tell. But anyway, I took it off Marv's site, but. Who knows? Everybody's not always correct. Even your host, Johnny G. I try to be, But everybody can't be perfect, because we all know. But let's continue here. Just heard the Opals here. Let's stay in 1954. Let's head to Los Angeles, California, with a request for listener Emnon for this group called The Flares. It didn't show up well on the web. The reds don't show up well. It's got something to do with the brightness or the contrast that I have to play around with. The nice dark labels with the silver lettering show up really well, but some of the other ones, I mean, I got to play around with this webcam, but at least you get the gist of it, don't you? The far away look is great, isn't it? Doesn't Johnny G look good from far away? That is for sure. But anyway, these are the Flares here. They recorded for the Bahari Brothers Flare label, of course named after the label. And this is the group's 4th of 7 on Flare, co-written by group member Richard Berry, who was also on lead. So this is by request for Amnon, June 1954. The Flares on the Flare label. The song is called Baby Wants. This is for Amnon.
My baby wants, well, baby wants, yes, baby wants, baby wants daddy to love all night. I've got a mama so sweet, loving can't be beat. Mama likes love all night. When her daddy gets to loving all right, and baby wants, well, baby wants, yeah, baby wants, baby wants daddy to love all night. I love mama so close. She says, daddy, let's go. When I let mama go, I'm running back for a little bit more. And I hold mama so tight, squeeze with all my might. Mama, she likes it, it seems, 'cause all she do is break down and scream. Baby, walk, well, baby, walk, yeah, baby, walk, baby, walk, daddy to love all night. Wow, baby wants, yes, baby wants, my baby wants, baby wants daddy to love all night. Mama gets on her knees, beg me, daddy, please, don't do this to me. You're loving about to be the death of me. Baby walk, oh, baby walk, yeah, baby walk, baby wants daddy to love all night.
There you go with the Flares. Richard Berry on lead with the Flares. Their June 1954 release on the Bahari Brothers Flare record label. Baby Wants is the name of the tune. They also recorded as the Hunters on the Flare label. I don't have that 45 either in my collection. They also backed up, though, other Flare recording artists, Young Jesse. I have those records. And also Richard Berry recorded as Ricky and Janelle. That was a duet with Richard Berry and Janelle Hawkins being backed up by the Flare. I do have that record, which is not an easy record to find. And I think they had one more release on Flare as the Chimes, I think, which I do have that 45. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s from 9 to midnight Eastern Time. We continue. We move into 1955. Let's stay on the Bahari Brothers Flare record label, this time with a request for listener Tom Shaughnessy. Tom, I just saw your email. I can't get them that fast with your requests, so that's got to be for next week. But this is a solo effort by the person we just heard singing with the Flares. This is Richard Berry, but there is an uncredited vocal group in the background. I think they're the Crowns backing them up on this release, as they backed They backed Berry up on some of his other releases. So for Tom Shaughnessy, February 1955, Richard Berry on the Flair label. It's called Please Tell Me. Wrong one.
I'll tell the world I love you so. My heart would break if you should go. Please, baby, tell me you love me too. If you should ever leave me blue, God only knows what I'd do. Please, baby, tell me you love me too. There have been times when I felt you wanted to go, but my dear, you know I loved you so. Remember the things we planned in the past, and this love of ours surely can last. But if you should want to leave, you're free. But if you love me, stay here with me. Please, baby, tell me you love me too. There have been times when I felt you wanted to go, but my dear, I loved you so. Remember the things we planned in the past, and this love of ours surely can last. But if you should want to leave, you're free. But if you love me, stay here with me. Please, baby, tell me you love me too. Oh, baby, tell me you love me too.
There you go. That's Richard Berry by request for Tom Shaughnessy, February 1955. Please Tell Me is the name of the tune. Came out on the Flair record label. Even though Richard Berry had a number of solo efforts, he continued to record with vocal groups, the Flairs, the Crowns, and the Dreamers, and probably some other groups too. Yeah, he sang with groups, I think, on Specialty and all over. He was really a singer with lots of hats, that is for sure. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we spin original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday. These are my 45s. It was funny. I was talking to my brother about. He's like, "What are you going to do with all these records? You know, how many, what are you going to do when you're 92 years old?" I said, "Well, I'm not going to make it to 92 years old. I'll probably think of what I'll do with them before then, but I don't want to think about that. I just want to enjoy them each day, every day that I can, and I'm sharing them with you, the Vinyl Treasure listeners." Let's continue here. Let's go to Detroit, Michigan with this request. For George Tompkins, this group would have two releases on Monroe Horn's Your Copy record label. Now, Monroe owned a record store in Detroit, and this group recorded in the back of the store, so the acoustics are not the greatest, unfortunately. But It's a rare 45. This is their second. Is this the rarer one? I don't know what the price is. I think I paid $800 for their first one. I think I paid more for this from Spence when he offered me this 45. But anyway, this is by request for George Tompkins. Now, George, you also mentioned that you wanted to send some records out to some people. So I don't know if you want to specifically say if this is for Harvey Karp or Mike Sape or David Hinckley. So you let me know, and I will do that. But anyway, these are the Fascinators. The Fascinators on the Your Copy record label from March 1955. Clarence Smith, he's the lead singer on this. The song is called My Beauty, My Own. This is for George Tompkins.
Stars in the sky, no longer are we alone. I love you, my beauty, my own. Two lips pressed together, rapture fills the air. My heart's now contented because you are there. Romance is found no longer to roam. I love you, my beauty, my own. It's heaven to be near you, paradise to hear you whisper your words of love. Stars above, as we kiss goodnight, and you have stole my heart. The evening breeze blows tenderly as tulips softly part. Sweet caressing, I hope I've known. I love you, my beauty, my own. My beauty, my beauty, my beauty, my beauty, my own.
There you go. Those are the Fascinators from March 1955. That is their, what did I say? That's their second release. Second release on the Your Copy record label out of Detroit, Michigan. My Beauty, My Own. That is by special request for George Tompkins, dedicated to Harvey Karp, Mike Sape, and David Hinckley. Johnny G spinning original vinyl 45s. Welcome a new listener to the program here. His name is Radio. What is it? Johnny G losing his mind. Radiotron 47. Welcome to the Vinyl Treasure Show. He is in the chat room there. Tell your friends about the program. If you're new to the show, please subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. Also, please click the like button if you're liking what you're hearing here. Let's continue here. And we are in 1955. We go back out to the West Coast again, to Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label, with this request for listener Daniel Kubacki. Now, Daniel requested the Penguins with the B-side to their fourth release on the Dutone label, and it's the B-side to the their follow-up to Love Will Make Your Mind Go Wild. It features Curtis Williams on lead. We go back to April 1955, the Penguins on Dutone. This is for Daniel. It's called Kiss a Fool Goodbye.
To think that love was grand, and I was flying high. I was a fool, dear. He was a fool. Kiss a fool goodbye. Kiss a fool goodbye. We didn't do things we had planned, 'cause you wouldn't even try. You had your fun, dear. You had your fun. Kiss a fool goodbye. A fool goodbye. You used to tell me that you loved me. I thought I always knew you lied. But when you said goodbye, I broke right down. Broke right down. I no used to dream what might have been. Used to sit and sigh, 'cause it's all over. Yes, it's all over. Kiss a fool goodbye. Kiss a fool goodbye. When you said goodbye, I broke right down. Broke right down and cried. No, used to dream what might have been. What might have been. No, used to sit and sigh, 'cause it's all over. Yes, it's all over. Kiss a fool goodbye. Kiss a fool goodbye.
That's the sound of the Penguins here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Daniel Kubacki, April 55 release. On Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label, Kiss a Fool Goodbye is the name of the tune. We stay in 1955. We go back to Brooklyn, New York, with this request for listener Timothy in our YouTube chat room. He requested The Strangers on Sid Nathan's King record label. It's the group's 5th of 6 releases for King Records. My promo copy is out of the record library of WMOD. I think they're out of the state of Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this side features John Grant on lead. Let's go back to January 1955. This is Sid Nathan's King record label for The Strangers. The Strangers on King. It's called Dreams Came True. This is for Timothy.
My dream came true when I met you. No more in life shall I be blue. No more shall I be blue. I knew my heart was meant for you, because my dreams came true. My can do, because my dream came true.
My dreams came true. And now I know what love can do.
Because my dream came true.
My dreams came true.
As by request for Timothy, a nice tune there by The Strangers, January 1955, Sid Nathan's King record label. Dreams Came True is the name of that one there, 5th of 6. I don't think I've ever played that on the program before. That is a nice tune there. My dreams definitely did come true, I can tell you that much, after what I've been through for the last 2 months here. But let's continue here. And up next, a classic now. This is a request for Kenny Mack in our YouTube chat room, and the group, of course, out of Queens, New York. First recorded for the Network label, then they signed with B. Caslin's Hull Records. This was their first release on the Hull label, and written by the lead singer of the group, Shane Shepherd, a.k.a. James Shepherd, by request for Kenny Mack, September 1955, the sound of the heartbeats on the Hull label. It's called Crazy for You.
Driving me crazy, oh my darling, where you been? It seems oh so childish when I always come to bed. You don't seem to understand that I'm crazy just for you. My nights are so lonely when you're not by my side. I think of you, darling, and tears just flood my eyes. You don't seem to understand that I'm crazy just for you. Crazy for you. Please say you love me. Please say you care. Oh, life without you, so hard to bear. I love you, darling. Want you to know. Please don't leave me. Please don't go. My nights are so lonely when you're not by my side. I think of you, darling, and tears just flood my eyes. You don't seem to understand that I'm crazy just for you.
Classic sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's going out to Kenny Mack. In our YouTube chat room, James Shepherd on lead, the Heartbeats from September 1955 on the Hull record label. Crazy for You is the name of the tune. They would re-sign with Hull Records back in 1961 as Shep and the Limelights. Now, for this 45, the first presses of this just list Shane Shepherd as the writer. Then later on, they added William Henry Miller, I'm sure, as Shane Miller, Shepherd Miller. So I think the the hardest press is probably the disc jockey copy. Then this one comes next. That's the Heartbeats with Crazy for You. Johnny G just about, I thought I was going to cough like I did in the past. Anyway, let's continue here. Let's go back to Brooklyn, New York with this request for George Tompkins, the first of 5 on Thomas Robinson's Atlas record label, written by the lead singer. His name is Lloyd Davis. So going out to George Tompkins in our YouTube chat room, September 1955, the Phytones on Atlas Records. Another classic, I consider it a classic. It's called Foolish Dreams.
I did not dream often, only now and then, but I should not have dreamt it all, for look at my dreams and foolish dreams have made a fool of me. Should have known our love could never be. You didn't want me, but you made me fall. Foolish dreams had made me want you near. Sought your love, but found it wasn't there. You never loved me, never loved me at all. You're my dream in reality, an angel that mortals can see. You're the one I've been searching for, but somehow you're not for me. Foolish dreams. In my dreams you were mine all along. Now I know my every dream was wrong. Never again will I dream foolish dreams.
As by request for George Tompkins there, the sound of the Phytones. The Phytones from September 1955 on the Atlas record label. Foolish Dreams is the name of the tune that featured Lloyd Davis on lead. Now, prior to this release, they recorded as the Cavaliers Quartet on the Atlas label. I don't have any of those Cavaliers Quartet 45s or 78s. But now, for you collectors out there, the true first presses have a large Atlas Man logo at 11 o'clock, and I think it's like block print. That is the first press. I had a chance to get a copy, but it was too whipped. And I said, you know what? I don't want that. But the second press, the second press has the Atlas Man at about the 9 o'clock position. That's the one that I had on the turntable here, and I showed you another one that I got in the wild. My first copy. It's not as clean as this one, but it's at the 9 o'clock position, but it's a much larger Atlas logo. So it's kind of weird, and that wasn't on the 45 Cat website. So somebody's got to tell Reed King he needs to contact me to get a scan of that. I'll send him a scan. He can post it up on the website. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. I took the lampshade off of the lamp that's up here. So those of you in the chat, tell me if it's better lighting or not that you can see. So some of them are blurry, but it's funny because now the darker labels are coming out a little lighter and the other labels that didn't look so cool are coming out clearer. I think that's how it is, but I'll be looking for your comments. So let's continue here. Now here's a request for listener Jim Lampley. The group is from the Watts and Compton area of Los Angeles, California, and when they auditioned for Dootsy Williams, the owner of Dutone Records, he recorded them immediately. Now, their debut single would become their biggest hit, and you know the tune. It was called The Letter. It came out in July of 1954, but in all, they had 13 releases between 1954 and 1960 on Dootsy Williams, Dutone, and Duto record labels. Now, Jim requested the A-side of their fourth release on Dutone. It came out in December of 55. Of course, Vernon Green is on lead. These are the Medallions going out to Jim Lampley on Dutone. It's called Dear Darling.
Dear darling, I'm so in love. Dear darling, I'm so in love. Dear darling, I'm so in love with you. I write you this letter, darling. Yes, and I want you to know that I was a fool, dear, to ever tell you to go. Dear darling, I'm so in love with you. Tears are falling, yes, darling, falling down from my eyes, just like a fool, dear, I now realize. Dear darling, I'm so in love, love with you. Sure, I was a fool when I let you go. I didn't realize that I loved you so. Now that you've gone and just begun to see how much, my darling, you mean to me. Oh, tears are falling, there's no question why. I know the reason why I cry. Dear darling, I'm so in love with you.
There you go. Those, whoops, Johnny G losing his mind here. Those are the Medallions, Vernon Green and the Medallions, by request for Jim Lampley, December 55 release on Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label. Dear Darling is the name of that tune. Let's move into 1956 now with Kitty Leeds up next. And this is a request for listener Ronnie Sherman. Ronnie Sherman, I couldn't attend that record show, the local record show. He said it was okay, But Johnny G really is not going to be attending till at least the fall when I have some extra cash in my pocket. But this group recorded 2 for Al Silver's Herald record label. This is their second, and the lead singer, his name is Little Butchie Saunders, which really was not his real name. His real name, that was an alias. His real name was John L. Brown. So this is by request for Ronnie Sherman. Kitty Leeds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, November 56 on the Herald record banner, Little Butchie Saunders and his buddies. It's called Great Big Heart. That's going out to listener Ronnie Sherman there, Little Butchie Saunders and his buddies. That's their, that's their second release on the Herald record label. Great Big Heart, November 1956 release. And he would later on become the lead of the L Chords on the Good record label with the song Peppermint Stick. Then one more on Thomas Robinson's Angletone record label is Little Butchie Saunders and the Vells. I think they do Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I bought that from Louis Silvani. It's funny because that record has, like, wasn't there a fire at Times Square Records at one time? The edge is like kind of singed a little bit. It's kind of odd, but it plays. It plays. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. We are in 1956. Here's a request for listener Joe Shacatano. Got to say hi to Joe Shacatano. And it's a great group from Newport News, Virginia. This was their very last release on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin record label. This was their 16th on Aladdin. They left Aladdin, though, in the fall of 1954, but Aladdin felt they could capitalize on the success the group was having with Capitol Records. So the song was written by the lead singer Rudy West. It was recorded July 11th of 1952, but it was released in January of 1956, going out to Joe Shacatano, the Five Keys with Rudy West on lead on Aladdin. It's called Story of Love.
My love, my tender love, romantic love, your eyes shine like the stars up above. love you nightly. Your eyes shine brightly, they do. My love, my only love, lasting love. You are my heart's eternal love. I'll always love you, I'll always need you, I do. Well, now you have gone on your way, dear, and I have gone my way too, and we are still meant for each other. For you, it's me. For me, it's you, my love, lasting love. You are my heart's eternal love. I'll always love you, I'll always need you, I do. I'll always love you, need you, my love.
As going out to Joe Shacatano there, the great sound of the Five Keys. Rudy West and the Five Keys there. January 1956 release, although recorded July 11th of 1952. That's on the Bahari Brothers Aladdin record label. Story of Love is the name of the tune. That is a good one there. Thanks for requesting that one, Joe. How about a twin spin with the Five Keys? And this is a request for Kenny Mack in our YouTube chat room, and the song I just played was released in January of 56, but the same month of that, at least in January 56, Capitol would release Close Your Eyes. So that was what the Bahari Brothers, what the the Mesner brothers were thinking of back then to release it to coincide with Close Your Eyes, which was their second release on the Capitol label. Now, Kenny requested their ninth, which charted nationally. This was a pretty decent hit for the Five Keys. Number 23 on Billboard, 19 on Cashbox. It was 12 on the R&B chart, and a big number one record on WCAE in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once again, we feature the great Rudy West on lead with the Five Keys, a tune written by Ivory Joe Hunter and Clyde Otis. August 56, the Five Keys on Capitol with Out of Sight, Out of Mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. So the story goes, you forgot I exist. My broken heart knows. Out of sight, out of mind. You found someone new, but I can't change my love the way that you do. I sit around wondering about your new affair.
forget if I could, but my heart is blind. You are gone out of sight, but not out of my mind. Out of sight, but not out of my mind.
That's a twin spin there by the Five Keys. That one there by request for Kenny Mack, the Five Keys, Rudy West and the Five Keys, August 1956, their ninth release on the Capitol label, Out of Sight, Out of Mind. The first time I heard that record, by the way, was when I tuned in to the Gus Gossard show, because he would play that record. I found that one out in the wild. I think, Brian, I have a nice mint copy from you, but I kind of put away my spin clean machine because I've been cleaning the house, making it kind of more accessible for my parents. But anyway, let's continue here on the 50s and early 60s edition. We are in 1956. Let's go to Bakersville, California for this next request for listener Bob Evans. This group signed with Larry Mead's Vita label, although Vita was first known as the Mambo label. And Mead said, well, wait a minute here. I don't want to call my label Mambo because maybe the teenagers will associate all my releases with Latin music. So he changed it to Vita Records. And this group would have 4 releases on the Vita label, although their first release, which was Adorable, it came out on Mambo first. It's rare on the Mambo label, but you can get it on Vita. But this is their 4th. Bob Evans requested their 4th, written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Joe Gundy. We go to April 1956. The Sound of the Colts on the Vita label. I think their picture is on the label too. The song is called Never No More. This is for listener Bob Evans.
Never, 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 ever. Never no more will you be lonely. You'll never have to cry. No, never no more. Forevermore, I love you only. I'll never say goodbye. No, never, no more. Never, no more. I know you'll never, ever need to feed your hungry heart again, because I'll never, no, I'll never, ever leave your arms again. Ooh, forevermore, I love you only. I'll never say goodbye. No, never, no more. Never, no more. I know you'll never, ever need to feed your hungry heart again. Because I'll never, no, I'll never, ever leave your arms again. Forevermore, I love you only. I
go there. Those are the Colts. The Colts from April 1956. By request for Bob Evans on the Vita record label. Never No More is the name of the tune. Now, this would later be released on Buck Ram's Antler record label, actually a B-side to The Sheik of Araby in February of 57. I showed you that 45 there. At first I pulled that one out. I said, wait a minute, Charlene sent me the research, and I said Vita Records. I said, well, there it is. I do have it because I've played it before many moons ago. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm here every Saturday live, every Saturday from 9 to midnight Eastern Time. I spin original vinyl 45s. If you want to send me a request, send it to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I'll spin it. I have about 175,000 45s. They're not all 50s and 60s, though. But there are a lot of 50s, and I got a lot of different genres. But we feature vocal group Harmony on Saturday night. Wednesday night, I do a soul show. If you like soul music from the 60s, tune in at 9 p.m. on Wednesday evening for a live broadcast. We continue here as the Medallions return to the program. This time, a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. We heard their fourth release 5 records ago from December 55. Now, Daniel requested, well, that one was by Jim Lampley. It was called Dear Darling. Now, here is the A-side to their 6th release. It was written by the lead singer, and that be Vernon Green. And he gets top billing on the label. I don't know if it's just it's this release and then later releases or the one before this. But it's now Vernon Green and the Medallions. And this charted number 10 on KBIG in Avalon, California. So we go to July 1956 for Daniel Kubacki in our YouTube chat room. Vernon Green and the Medallions on Dutone. It's called Shedding Tears. It's called Shedding Tears for You. Wait, this lead-in is short. I don't want to mess my needle up.
The trees are shedding the leaves. The sky is shedding the rain. In my eyes, oh yeah, you're shedding the tears for you. For you. Left me one summer day. Oh, why did you go away? Now my eyes, oh yeah, you're shedding the tears for you. Summer's gone, and now it's fall. That's when I miss you most of all. Oh, the tree is shedding the leaves. The sky is shedding the rain. And my eyes, oh yeah, you're shedding the tears for you. Summer's gone, and now it's fall. That's when I miss you most of all. Oh, the trees are shedding the leaves. The sky shedding the rain.
As going out to Daniel Kubacki there, Vernon Green and the Medallions, July 56 on the Dutone record label, Shedding Tears for You. Now, isn't it funny, a lot of the California, well, I don't want to say a lot of them, but there's a lot, Death of an Angel. I mean, these songs are like, kind of like Tales of Galloping Woe. Some of the releases out in California, you can do well, not that it brings you down in the dump. We're listening to the vocal styles of all these groups, and that was a big hit in Avalon, California, number 10 on that survey anyway. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Hope you're digging on these cool tunes. These are requests you, the listeners, have given Johnny G. Thank you for that. And again, send them to vinyltreasures@aol.com. Let me know if you like the show. Those of you that tuning in for the first time, tell your friends about it. Been doing this since 2005 on another radio station that has made a big mistake, of course, but Johnny G live on YouTube and on Oldies and More. I used to tune in at least after midnight, but I'm only I sign off at midnight at least now because I've been away for over 2 months, and this is my second show back here on a Saturday night. So I hope you're digging on it. I hope Johnny G's sounding good too. Let's continue here. We are in 1956. Go back out to the West Coast for this group. A request for listener Timothy in our YouTube chat room. Now, this group out of LA ended up on a Chicago label. How could that be? The label owners or the producers or the people behind the music make Wheeling and Dealing, of course, but this is on the Bally label. A great two-sided 45 by this group called The Turks, written by Johnny Guitar Watson and George Mottola. I call him the West Coast George Golner, although probably, I don't want to say not as big, maybe as big. No, I don't think so. I think Goldner was really had a big empire until he gambled it all away, unfortunately. That was terrible what happened to Mr. George Golner. But this is George Mottola involvement. He produced the session. It features the great voice of Gaynell Hodge Onley. Like I said, a great two-sided 45. This is going out to Timothy. September 56, The Turks on Bally. It's called Why Did I? It's a question.
Why did you say goodbye when you know how much I care? Why did you make me cry lonely tears of despair? Tell me, darling, what have I done to lose the love that once was mine? Why did you kiss and hold me in your arms? Why did you let my heart be captured by your charms? Tell me, darling, what have I done to lose the love that once was mine? I've cried and I've cried on my pillow, thinking of you all the time. I've tried and I've tried to forget you, but I can't chase you out of my mind. Why don't you change your mind and give me one more chance? Maybe you'll understand the meaning of romance. Tell me, darling, what have I done to lose the love that once was mine? I've cried and I've cried on my pillow, thinking of you all the time. I've tried and I've tried to forget you, but I can't chase you out of my mind. Why don't you change your mind and give me one more chance? Maybe you'll understand the meaning of romance. Tell me, darling, what have I done to lose the love that once was mine? To lose the love that once was mine.
That's a great sound of Gaynell Hodge and the Turks. That's going out to Timothy in our YouTube chat room, September 1956 release. It's on the Bally label. They're out of L.A., Bally Records out of Chicago. Why Did I is the name of the tune. Why did I not buy certain records from certain people in the past? You learn from your mistakes. Yes, you do. Let's continue here. And we are in 1956. We go back to New York City with a request for listener Joe Shacatano in our YouTube chat room as the lead singer for this group. Previous sang lead with the Four Buddies. The Four Buddies that recorded for the Savoy folks out in Newark, New Jersey. But then he became the lead singer of this Dappers group. Now, it's their only release on the RCA subsidiary Groove Records. And the lead singer here, his name is Larry Harrison. This is going out to Joe Shacatano, May 1956. The Dappers on the Groove label. It's called That's All, That's All, That's All.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do.
That's all the love I'm giving you, and all the kissing I will do. That's all I'm telling you. I'm through. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all the chances you will get. It's time you learn to know regret. That's all the times that I'll forget. That's all. That's all. That's all. No more are you gonna make
A doggone fool of me.
wow, 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 wow. The last time that you broke my heart,
Made me begin to see. Do 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 do
that's
do.
all the times my heart will die. That's all the times I'm gonna cry. Yes, darling, I just said goodbye. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Do 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 do.
That's going out to Joe Shacatano in our YouTube chat room. The Dappers there. Larry Harrison on lead, May 1956 on the Groove record label. That's All, That's All is the name of the tune. We'll be flipping this over for next Saturday night, so stay tuned for that. We'll send it out. We're going to play it for Rich, and we're going to play it for Butch, who mentioned the flip side on that 45. I have the records programmed for tonight, and again, they're all requests except the first two records that I played tonight. Cleo and the Crystaliers, that was my selection to open up the vocal portion, and Hand Clappin' by Red Prysock. But those are the Dappers there. There was a second Dappers group later on. There were some members of this group in that group on the Rainbow label, but it was a different lead singer as Larry Harrison left. I think he has some solo releases too, by the way. But Gregory Carroll, he was the lead on that second Dappers group. Let's continue. We are in 1956. Back out to California we go with this request for Mike Sape. He wants to send this one out to fellow listener George Tompkins. This group first recorded as the Marbles on the Lucky label back in 1954. I don't have that 45. I think I might have it on 78, if I'm not mistaken, but not on 45. Then they would sign with the R&B label, and they would change their name to the Jewels. And then they again would sign with Imperial Records for some releases, and which brings us to this release, which came out on the Bahari Brothers RPM record label. The song written by the lead singer, his name is Johnny Torrance. So this is a special request by Mike Sape going out to George Tompkins. This is from September 1956, The Jewels on the RPM record label. It's called B, the letter B, Bomb Baby.
Heard about the H-bomb, you heard about the B-bomb, but I got a baby, call her the B-bomb, my B-bomb baby, yeah, yeah, baby, my B-bomb baby. I love my baby with all my heart, my B-bomb baby, and I would never part. My B-bomb baby, yeah, yeah, baby, my B-bomb baby. She not too short, she not too tall. My B-bomb baby tops them all. My B-bomb baby, yeah, baby, my B-bomb baby. She not too tall, my B-bomb baby tops them all. My B-bomb baby, woo, baby, my B-bomb baby.
They're called the Jewels. Johnny Torrance and the Jewels there, September 56. It's on the Bahari Brothers RPM record label, B-Bomb Baby. That one there, requested by Mike Sape, going out to George Tompkins. We move on here on the 50s and early 60s edition. We count down the music chronologically here. Lots of your requests from 1956. Still got two more to go here. This is a request for listener Jim Lampley, as this lead singer first recorded with the Sparks of Rhythm on Bess Berman's Apollo record label back in 1955. In 1956, he would lead the Savoys on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy record label. Then the group signed with George Golner's Rama label for 2 releases, and Jim requested their first, written by Sonny Gale, that female singer Sonny Gale and Horace Lindsay. This one features Jimmy Jones on lead by request for Jim Lampley. These are the Pretenders. As we go back to May 1956, the Pretenders on the Rama label. It's called Possessive Love.
Possessive love. Of mine, this
That's going out to Jim Lampley there, May 1956. The Pretenders, Jimmy Jones. He has an unmistakable voice, I have to say. There's not many people that sound like Jimmy Jones, but he's the lead there with the Pretenders on the Rama label. Possessive Love is the name of that one. Of course, he would go on to have a very successful solo career, starting with Cub Records, division of MGM, and then he went into the mid-1960s with other releases. There you go. We are in one more in 1956 here. We head to Indianapolis, Indiana for this next group. They spent their short career, which was only 2 years, recording for Randy Wood's Dot record label. Between January 54 and January 1956, they had some pretty nice releases. This is a request for listener Nat Papagallo, listening down in Naples, Florida. I used to work for a company called, I was the accounting controller for LK Comstock, and the parent company was called Railworks. And he worked, I think Nat, you worked in the transit division, if I'm not mistaken, but or signals. I don't know. The company, we dealt with a lot of Local 3 and a lot of railroad work, and Nat would come up. I don't know how you found out about the records, that I was a record collector, but I knew that Nat had jukeboxes, and he knew all about the jukeboxes, and he would ask me about all these 50s records, like a cappella records, and he would come in and he would say if I had any duplicates, and I sold him a bunch of duplicates that I have. And I had like this big office in the back. It was like a fishbowl office, and I think there were about 18 people that I managed there, but I was the accounting controller, doing percentage of completion. When you work for a construction company there, a lot of things happen in a construction company, and there were a lot of people that were interested in my music. Paulie Walnuts, I forget his last name, he passed away. He would say to me, Johnny G, can you play me Otis Williams and the Charms' Whirlwind? And then I forget the other guy, but he was he passed away. He asked me he goes, do you have anything by the Five Delights, like on the Able label? And he goes, because I grew up with those guys. Oh, I forget his name. Oh, Nat, you're going to have to call me. We'll have to talk about it. But anyway, Nat's been listening to the show for years now. So this is his request, January 1956. These are the Counts on the Dot record label. This is going out to Nat Papagallo, listening in Naples, Florida. It features Chester Brown on lead. The song is called To Our Love. Whoops, wrong one.
Is true.
get to die. And this is for you and I.
Do I love? We can stay. We made it stronger from day to day. Love is ours. Love is here to stay. Love is here to stay. Love is here to stay.
That's the sound of the Counts here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Chester Brown on lead, January 1956, going out to Nat Papagallo in Naples, Florida. That one there on Randy Wood's Dot record label. To Our Love is the name of the tune, one of the thousands of 45s that George Tompkins turned me on to during my early days of collecting as a young teenager. Listening to this music, I knew nothing about it, only what my Aunt Mary had in her collection, and she wasn't the normal teenager either. Normally, you know, when in the 1950s and early 60s, you'd buy like 50 records during your high school career, or even younger than that, because she said her first record that she bought was Earth Angel, but she was born 1943. So she said she had 278. She had Earth Angel, I think G by the Crows, and everything else was on 45. But you know, when I'm like, Mary, you know, I would look through her records. Of course, I broke a ton of them because she really never took good care of her records. So I'm like, Mary, where'd you hear I Love You Darling by the Valentines? So I'm looking for that record like on Billboard. You know, I was just like 12 or 13. I'm like, Mary, this didn't list. Where did you get this record? And I don't know. She said she heard it in the jukebox or something, because she was not the normal teenager. She had about 800 or 900 records in her collection, and she continued to buy into her 30s and 40s. She went into soul music and even into disco music. So kind of like, you know, she introduced me to the music, but she didn't really know a lot of these rarer titles that I have. And there was a certain sound that she did. So really, she was supposed to be a guest listener on my show, but unfortunately, she passed away. It was 2 years ago, maybe longer than that. It was before COVID, so it had to be 3 years ago. But I still have her records with her name on it and all her boyfriends' names on the record, and her ME1 number on there. ME1 5331 was her number, and because she used to go to all these dances and stuff and bring her records, and she had those metal inserts, you know, those Chicago metal inserts that would cut. I think they say Chicago, but she had like 6 of them, and she really knew how to put them in the 45s. But when she would go to work, she used to be a cashier for General Motors. I would have, and I was young, I would have my Uncle Philip, who was like in his 80s. He would try to put them in, and he would split the records, especially the styrene 45s. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Let's go back out to the West Coast. This time, for listener George Tompkins, we go to the Flip record label. And does anybody know what the big record was on Flip Records? What really made that label? Well, it was by Trudy Williams and the 16's. I'm sure you know the song called A Casual Look, but here's a good one that probably should have been a hit, and it's a request for listener George Tompkins. They're called the King Bees, not the same group though recorded for Lloyd Price's KRC label. That group was out of Washington, D.C. This group is out of California, and really not an easy record to find, by the way. So this is by request for George Tompkins, June 1957, the King Bees on the Flip label. It's called Give Me Your Number.
Little girl, you are so divine.
you go. That's for George Tompkins there. The Sound of the King Bees out of California. That's on the Flip label. Song entitled Give Me Your Number. That one there from June 1957. Got another one from 1957. This group is out of Rahway, New Jersey, and this is a request for listener Bob Evans. This is on Bob Cruz and Frank Slay's XYZ record label. Of course, the big record on that label was Silhouettes by the Rays, and then came out on the Cameo record label. But they wrote this tune, those two guys that own the label. The group is called the Chancellors, and I have this both on a styrene press and a vinyl press, but this styrene press is mintier, we'll call it. The other one is not, but it features Paul Bozung, B-O-Z-U-N-G on lead, and he's also playing piano on this. This is going out to Bob Evans, December 57, the Chancellors on XYZ. It's called Gotta Little Baby.
Chicks, a lot of pretty mamas in town. When I really want some good love, and my baby's the best all around. Ding dong, church bells are ringing. Ding dong, ringing. Up in the morning, late at night. Got a little baby, so right. Got a little baby. Got a little baby on my hand. So fine and do a lover. We bet you about an hour. I do. Up in the morning, late at night. Got a little baby, so right. Got a little baby, so right.
As going out to listener Bob Evans, that one there from December 1957, the Chancellors. The Chancellors on XYZ, Gotta Little Baby. John G's got a lot of 45's. We spin them every Saturday from 9 to midnight Eastern Time. Tell your friends. If you're new to the program, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page and click the bell to get notifications when Johnny G goes live. I used to do test shows here like sometime in the afternoon. I retired last May, and I thought I was going to get all my 45's in order, though, but I kind of had a 2-month setback here, or longer than 2 months now, but we're getting back into the swing of things now, and hope you're digging on the tunes here. Let's go to Philadelphia now with this request for listener Ronnie Sherman. It's on Artie Singer's Singular label, and this is the same Singular label that Danny and the Juniors recorded the original version of At the Hop. It came out on Art Singer's Singular record label, but I have no information on this group. This record released in March of 58. The group is called The Tops, but it's a great two-sided 45, but I prefer this side that Ronnie requested. March 58, The Tops on Singular. It's called An Innocent Kiss.
My, oh my, oh my, an innocent kiss. That's what it was meant to be. innocent kiss, one that I could leave or take. That was really what I thought. Oh, what a big mistake. I kissed your lips. I don't know what happened there. I only know that I'll never be the same again. I will never, ever understand how I ended up like this, so completely yours, from just an innocent kiss. I kissed your lips. I don't know what happened there. I only know I'll never be the same again. I will never understand how I ended up like this, so completely yours, from just an innocent kiss.
That's a great tune there. I love that one. So does George Tompkins. So do a bunch of the guys and gals in the chat room there. Those are the tops. The tops by request for Ronnie Sherman, March 58 release on the Singular label, An Innocent Kiss. I remember when I bought that record. So I think I've told the story before. I used to go to Mount Kisco. I was working in White Plains for I think it was Transamerica Leasing. Yeah, I was working in White Plains. No, maybe it was not. Maybe it was CTI Container Transport at the time. They're no longer. They lease out dry cargo containers. You know those containers that they put on those big ships. Tons and tons of containers. Well, anyway, I would get out of work and I'd go pick up a slice of pizza or something. And I'd drive from White Plains to Mount Kisco, and I'd go to this guy's house. Ed Sokol was his name. He was Mike Layton introduced me to him, and they were fixing this old house, and this basement was filled with thousands of 45's. He had these big shelves. I think they were up to the ceiling, and he had a little step ladder, and he goes to me, he goes, look, anything on the wall is $1 a piece. So I was going there like 3 times a week, and I was bringing like $1,000 in cash with me each time, and I was piling up the records, and I would put them in piles of like 100, and he'd say, you can tack on a few more, so they'd be like 115. He'd give them to me for, $100. So he has this closet that he walks in, and he takes out this, like, it must have been about 4 or 5 records, and there was a piece of paper around it, and it said for Rich Rosen. So he says to me, I don't want to have to deal with Rich Rosen, but can you use these records? Now, these are not $1. I want you to pay me $35 for these records. So I was like, well, let me see what they are. So it was this record by the Tops, An Innocent Kiss. It was, I think, a Drifters record, one of their early Yellow Atlantics. There was another one, I think it was, is it called Tears by the Persuaders on Winley? I think that was in there. Then there was a copy of 11 Roses by the Wrens. And there was one more. Oh, there was the True Tones, the record that I have called Magic. And the flip side's good too on Chart Records. So he says, I want $35 for these. And you can't say anything to Rich Rosen about it. I says, don't worry. I don't talk to Rich. I only bought from him once, and it was the last time I ever dealt with him again. So anyway, but that was in there, this nice copy, a nice promo of that. But that got to me instead of Rich anyway. You just heard it. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. We are 1958. Now here's a flip side, a B-side from last week, as it was Daryl Letts that requested this. I featured this ultra rare 45 out of Utica, New York, on Stanley Markowski's, Stanley Markowski's Mark label by the Teenage Moonlighters. This was an expensive record. This cost me 4 figures, I can tell you that much. I featured Sorry Sorry. Now, Daniel requested the flip side. So let's give it a spin before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. No humidity down there, not with the cold weather we're experiencing. It says, snow on and off. That's what my forecast says. October 1958, the Teenage Moonlighters, by request for Daryl Letts on the Mark label. It's called I Want to Cry.
And want me as I want you. I knew our love would never last the way you acted last night. I only pray that you come back to me, say there's hope inside. I wanna cry because you're not crying. You made me feel like my love was declined. Oh, why can't you love me? Want me as I want you. Don't make me as I want you. Don't make me cry, I don't wanna cry. Don't make me cry, I don't wanna cry. Don't make me cry, I don't wanna cry. Please make me
cry. B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. That one there going out to Daryl Letts in our YouTube chat room. The Teenage Moonlighters, I Want to Cry is the name of the tune. Came out on the Mark record label out of Utica, New York, October 1958 release. Greg Surik sold me that record. Was not cheap, I can tell you that much. Someone was in the chat room asking me about a playlist. I don't post a playlist, but if you go to each of the videos, there's something there that you can hit that says more, and what it'll show you, sometimes you can get as many as 25 the copyright issues. They're not strikes. They're just they will not allow me to monetize my videos with, sometimes I can get as many as 30. At least they don't give me a strike, but they'll tell you that WMG does not allow you, is not approved to play this, but they're letting me play this because I'm advertising, their songs. I do get some that are problematic. I played a Peggy March record on last Wednesday night's show, and they blocked the video in Russia. Of course, those thousands of listeners that I have in Russia would not be able to see it, unfortunately. I'd have to remove it. And they have a program to do that here on YouTube, but it erases the chat. So I opted not to allow my Russian listeners to watch the video, unfortunately. But the rest of the world could. I don't know the rules. I think they give me a little bit of leeway because maybe because I have the originals. I don't know if that's the case, because I played, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I played one for George Tompkins that I did get a strike on Excello, but they let it go through this time. So I don't know what the YouTube police do. I just don't want to get a strike. Talk to Brian about the strikes. Anyway, let's continue here. Let's stay in 58 with a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. This gal was born in, is it Amite City, Amite City, Louisiana, and but at the age of 15, she relocated to Houston, Texas. Her real name is Lilia Lavelle White, but she recorded as Miss Lavelle. Now, she signed with Don Robey's Duke record label in 1958. This was her debut single, a song written by Billy Dawn Smith, and a request for Daniel Kubacki, October 1958, Miss Lavelle on the Duke label. It's called Teenage Love.
Well, when I first met you, sweet thing, you set my soul afire. You was my teenage romance, was my heart desire. Oh, nobody can love me, baby, who about you? No, nobody. I said nobody. No, nobody, baby, who about you? No, nobody can steal your love from me. You were my teenage lover. You carried my books to school. You know I loved you so much. It was against the teacher's rule. No, nobody. Don't you love me, baby? Nobody. I said nobody. No, nobody. No, nobody can steal your love from me. You know I love you so much. I swear by star above. You were my teenage romance. Always would be my love. Nobody. Don't you love me, baby? Without you do. No, nobody. Without you do. Nobody. Without you do. No, nobody. Without you do. No, nobody can steal your love from me. Who about you love me, baby? Who about you do? Who about you love me, baby? Who about you do? Who about you love me, baby? Who about you do? Who about you love me, baby? Who about you do?
October 58 release there, going out to Daniel Kubacki in our YouTube chat room. Miss Lavelle and some group there in the background. I don't know who they are, but that's on Don Roby's Duke record label, the first of 6 she had on Duke Records. Teenage Love is the name of that tune. We have a couple more than a couple more, 3 more in 1958. Let's go back to Newport News, Virginia for this next request. This is for Bob Evans. It's not the Five Keys, though. This group is known as the Avalons. First recording for the Groove record, folks, back in 1956, but they have a number of excellent releases. And here's one they did on the Unart record label, a subsidiary of United Artists. That is fantastic. Now, it features Raphael Ingram on lead. This is by request for Bob Evans' December 1958 release for the Avalons on the Unart label. It's called Heart's Desire.
You're my heart's desire. You're my heart's desire. You are my heart's desire. You set my soul on fire. Your lips are close to mine. You'll find you're my heart's desire.
That's the great sound of the Avalons there on the Unart record label. That's going out to listener Bob Evans, December 58. Heart's Desire is the name of the tune. Now, this song was recorded in January of 1958, but it was not released until December of that year. I wonder why they kept it in the can that long. But should have been a hit. Definitely should have been a hit. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We're here from 9 to midnight. Going to close down at midnight right away. Or maybe we go a couple minutes more. Got the babysitter downstairs, but let's continue now. As up next, a request for listener Emnon. It's actually a duet. Now, the gal, she's originally from Denver, Colorado, and she previously was the lead singer of a group called The Dots that recorded for the Caddy label. Now, her male partner on this, at least on the label, it says is Decky, D-E-C-K-Y, but in reality, it's Johnny Flamingo, who was actually a member with her of The Dots, and also I guess he went with her with this recording, and it turns out that he was also her husband. But here is Jeanette Baker and Decky, a.k.a. Johnny Flamingo. This is on the Aladdin label, and it's a request for Emnon. November 58, Jeanette Baker and Decky on the Aladdin label. It's called Crazy With You.
oh no, I fall in love with you. Sitting on a roof and we're looking at the city, and it's nighttime too, and the lights are looking pretty. Let's climb down and take a look around town and see what the guys and girls are putting down. It's a topsy-turvy world, but anyhow it's gonna be a crazy with you.
There goes a Barbara and a John walking down the street.
Yeah.
Don't you think together they sure look neat?
Let's make a stop at the record shop and check some size that really rocks.
Say, looking at a new 59 Cadillac.
Yeah.
It's up in the front and swinging in the back.
Wonder if I ever own a short like that with a record player in it and the colors red and black. Well, we finally made it here to the record shop.
Boy, those sides, they're really hot.
Hope the crazy music will never stop, so we can dance all night and do the cha-cha hop.
Say, what's that record there below?
Might be out.
No, it's fast domino.
Put the records on so we can go, go, go. Hop it fast or dance it slow. Baby, let me walk you on back to the past. I bet your dad is really, really mad.
He won't be sore, but I am glad. It's
a topsy-turvy world, but anyhow it's gonna be a crazy,
crazy
with you.
Uh-huh, oh yeah, I really go for you.
Oh gee, oh gosh, you kinda like you too. Ooh-wee, ooh-wah, I really didn't want to. Oh no, I fall in love with you.
Uh-huh, oh yeah, I really go for you.
Oh gee, oh gosh, you kinda like you too. Ooh-wee, ooh-wah, I really didn't want to. Oh no, I fall in love with you.
That's going out to listener Amnon there, Jeanette Baker and Decky, a.k.a. Johnny Flamingo. November 1958, released on the Aladdin label. Crazy With You is the name of the tune. And she also does a duet with Oscar McLolly on the Class label, which I have featured here on the program. I like her. My favorite record by her, she's got two on Caddy that are good. I like her version of Johnny that she does on Caddy as the Dots, and then there's their last one, which is a good one, which is very expensive, 45. Johnny G babbling on here. We are in 1958 now. On last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I featured the Superiors out of Philadelphia on the Mainline label with the song called Lost Love. Many of you really dug that tune there, featuring Eddie Custis on lead. Now, it was listeners Darrell Letts and George Tompkins that requested the flip side, which is also excellent. Now, this was first issued on Atco Records. That truly is the first press. Came out in December of 1957, and then came out locally in Philadelphia on the Mainline label, which is the more expensive for whatever reason. I guess they made less of them. I don't know. But so we're going to send this one out to George Tompkins and Darrell Letts, February 58, The Superiors on the Mainline record label, the flip side of Lost Love. It's called Don't Say Goodbye.
More than I, does she love you like I do? Darling, please don't say we're through.
You told me you would love me forever, and that we, my darling, we would never, ever part. Now it's my turn to plead with you, my darling. Can't you see you're breaking my heart? Can't you see you're breaking my heart?
Breaking my heart. Don't say goodbye, for I must make you see that you mean more to me than needs be the beat of my heart.
That's the great sound of the Superiors, a great two-sided 45. Eddie Custis on lead. That's going out to George and Daryl in the February 58 release of Superiors on Mainline. Don't Say Goodbye. Johnny G's not saying goodbye, not till midnight tonight. Let's continue now, and we move into 1959 now with a request for listener Mike Sape, and he would like to dedicate this tune to all of you in the chat room. Now, later in his career, this singer, lead singer, was known as the Godfather of Soul, but he began his career on Sid Nathan's Federal record label back in 1956 with his first release called Please, Please, Please. But he would have 18 releases on the Federal label before before Sid Nathan moved him over to King Records, and Mike requested the B-side to his 12th on the Federal label. And again, this is by request from Mike Sape to all of you in the chat room, February 59, for James Brown and the Famous Flames on Federal. It's called There Must Be a Reason.
There must be a reason for the way you're doing. Oh, there must be a reason for the way you're doing. Yeah, if you don't come back, my life is gonna be oh so ruined. Yeah, there must be a chance for me one more time. Yeah, there must be a chance for me one more time. Yeah, if you don't come back, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, you broke my heart in two, told me all the things were true. Oh, I know, little girl, that I was wrong.
That's the sound of James Brown and the Famous Flames here on the Vinyltreasure Show, February 59, requested by Mike Sape. Going out to all of you in the YouTube chat room there. There Must Be a Reason is the name of that tune on Sid Nathan's Federal record banner. Let's continue now, and let's go to New Haven, Connecticut for the sound of the Five Satins. This is a request for listener Kenny Mack. and this is on Dick Lawrence's Another First record label, the song co-written by the lead singer. That's Fred Paris. Fred Paris. These are the Five Satins from May 1959 on Another First Records. The Five Satins with Skippity Doo. This is for Kenny Mack.
Skip, 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 skippity. You're good to skip, 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 skippity.
Love me, baby, with all your heart and soul. Love me, baby, don't leave me in the cold, 'cause you're good to be. I love you, darling, you are my one desire, and when I'm with you, you set my heart on fire. Well, you're good to be. Remember the night I first gazed upon you, had me so I could see. Remember the light that was driving me onward to your victory. I'll always need you, 'cause you were meant for me. So please remember until eternity that you're good.
Skip, 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 skippity.
I'll always need you, 'cause you were meant for me. So please remember until eternity that you're good.
Skip, 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 skip,
Yes,
skippity.
you're good.
Skip, 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 skippity.
As going out to Kenny Mack, the sound of the Five Satins there, Fred Paris and the Five Satins, May 1959. I like both sides of that record, by the way. Song entitled Skippity Doo, that's on Another First label, and I featured the first press of that on the orange label. I showed you the green label, which was released, I think, maybe a couple months later, and interesting about this record that it was a three-way deal, this label involving Dick Lawrence, George Golner, and Al Silver. Al Silver probably owed a favor to one of the two guys. So, you know, these record guys they did all these deals like anybody does any deal. Johnny G doing the real deal here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes. Here is a flip side from last week. I played a request for Ryan Heisey, this group out of the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. They were known as the Laurels. I played the ballad side, a song called You Left Me, featured Roy Robinson on lead. He was also doing lead on the flip side. Now, I'm sure many of you know this song was a big, big hit in 1959 for Jan and Dean on Lou Bedell's Dore record label, but this is the original version of the song. A tune written by group member Melvin Schwartz. And this is from 1959, and Ryan requested the flip side here from 1959. These are the Laurels on the Spring label, the original version of Baby Talk.
Well, I am only 5 years old and my baby 3, but I know that she's a girl, just you wait and see. And when I say I love my girl, she replies to me with that, which means to say she loves me.
In baby talk.
She cannot speak very well, everybody knows. things to say. She loves me.
In baby talk.
Say she loves me. And I'll tell the world that I love her so. And in the years to come, my dear, I'll never let her go. No, no, no. That she will say to me when I kiss her on the cheek, oh so tenderly. Although I'm only 5 years old, and my baby too, I really love my baby. Love my baby. Love my baby. Go, go, go.
As by request for Ryan Heisey, 1959. That's the original version of the tune Baby Talk by the Laurels on the Spring label. Must have brought the writer Melvin Schwartz lots of money because that was a big hit for Jan and Dean. Now, for you collectors out there, the absolute first press of this has the address on the top. Now, it was manufactured by Power Records, and they are originals that were pressed after the Jan and Dean hit. But this is the true first press, the way that I have it. I bought that from Don Folletti, is what I did. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures, and we move into 1960. Although, listen closely, this song sounds like it was recorded way earlier. Remember buying both this group's, there were 2 releases by this group. This is their second. This is a release, this is a request for Joe Shacatano. Now, Greg Surik sold me both copies of this Lasso, this group on the Lasso record label. They're called the Castros. Their first one was a song called Lucky Me, backed with Darling I Fell For You, which they're great. They're nice records in my opinion. But this is the A side of their second, and this is my favorite by the group. And this is by request for Joe Shacatano, released in 1960 but recorded earlier. The Castros on Lasso Records. It's called Is It Right?
You said it was my fault. You said I was wrong. Now tell me who's doing wrong right now. You said things would be fine. Now, darling, you changed your mind. You have that right, but are you right this time? How can I go on and on the way I do? Loving you, wanting you for my own. I know you have the right, but darling, is it right to leave me alone? I know you have the right, but darling, is it right to leave me
That's the second of two for the Castros on the Lasso label by request for Joe Shacatano. It's much earlier than 1960, but I love that record. I do. Joe, thanks for requesting that. The Castros, Is It Right, is the name of the tune. We continue here. We are in 1960. Up next is girl group. They're from Harlem, New York. You know their biggest hit from 1957 came out on the Atlantic label. The song was called Mr. Lee. Here is their second of two they did on George Golner's Triple X record label. Members of this group were lead singer on this, Aretha Dixon, Emma Port, Jeannie Port, Helen Gathers, and Laura Webb. Collectively, they were known as the Bobettes, and this is actually a cover song. This was first recorded by the Dominoes back in 1952 on the Federal record label. This charted number 66 on Billboard, number 32 on KIMM in Denver, Colorado. We go to September of 1960. This is for Amnon, the Bobettes on Triple X. Their rendition of the tune, Have Mercy, Baby.
Mercy, mercy, baby. I know I've done you wrong. Have mercy, mercy, baby. I know I've done you wrong. My heart's full of sorrow. Take me back where I belong. Well, I've been a good for nothing. I lied and cheated too. I've been a good for nothing. I've lied and cheated too. I'm telling you, my darling, I don't know what to do. Well, I want to cha, baby. I love me one more time. Cha, baby. I love me one more time. I swear, pretty baby, I'll drive you out of your mind. Yes, I'm on my knees, baby. And it's more than I can take. I'm on my knees, pleading. And it's more than I can take. Come back, baby. Give my heart another break.
The feeling goes round and upside down. I said, whoop, doo-doo-doo. The feeling goes around and upside down. I said, whoop, doo-doo-doo. The feeling goes around and upside down. I said, whoop, doo-doo-doo.
Yes, I'm on my knees, pleading.
Yes, I'm pleading.
And it's more than I can take. I'm on my knees, pleading.
Yes, I'm pleading.
And it's more than I can take. Come back, baby. Give my heart another break. Yeah, try. Try. I said try. Try. I said
That's the second of two for the Bobettes. I think that's the follow-up to I Shot Mr. Lee. The Bobettes there, September 1960. That's for Amnon on Triple X. Have Mercy, Baby is the name of that tune. We are in 1960. Here's a request for listener Joe Chandler as we head to Detroit, Michigan for this group. And this group consisted of three brothers and their father. The lead singer was Armand Abney, a.k.a. Armand King, and Butler Aubrey Jr. was the tenor, as well as Cliff Lance, and the father, Butler Abney Sr., he was the bass of the group. Now, the backup band here are the Rhythm Kings. They're providing the music, and this is going out to Joel Chandler. This is their second release on the Fortune record label. They're called The Earthquakes. The Earthquakes on Devorah Brown's Fortune Records, 1960. The song is called This Is Really Real. This is for Joel. As going out to Joel Chandler, a.k.a. Zenith, in our YouTube chat room, The Sound of the Earthquakes. That's their second release on the Fortune record label. Armin King, the lead singer on that 1960 release. This Is Really Real is the name of the tune. Johnny G's 45's are really real. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Johnny G is on from 9 to midnight Eastern time here, broadcasting out of New York. We do the show every Saturday night. I do another show on Wednesday evenings, an all-soul show from 9 to midnight. So if you like the 60s music, join me for that show. But we continue here, an all-request show. We move into 1961 with this request for Sugar Bear Sterling, this group from the Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland area. First recording back in 1958 for the Monument record label, but they have this release on the Felsted label in 1961. It features Ronald Henderson on lead. We go to June 61, the True Tones on the Felsted label for Sterling. It's called Blushing Bride.
Nights were wild and so was she. There is one place that I want her to be, here by my side, she's to be my blushing bride. Come soon, yes, come soon. I'm to be her blessing groom. Can you hear her calling me from here and afar? And that river that you see is my tear. We understand just what love means, and we intend to love eternally. Oh, darling, come soon. Yes, come soon. I'm to be her blessing room.
June 61 release for Sugar Bear Sterling, the True Tones on Felsted Records. Blushing Bride features Ronald Henderson on lead for that one. Let's stay in 61 for this group from Vicksburg, Mississippi. This is a request for listener Butch Ford. This is on the Trebco record label. They're called The Vells. The Vells, the name of the group. This is from September 61 on Trebco for Butch Ford. It's called Mysterious. It says Teenage, but it must be Mysterious Teenager.
Mysterious teenage, mysterious girl. She don't even know me or no one in this world. She don't even notice or give me a glance. Mysterious teenage won't give love a chance. She keeps on nosing
As going out to Butch Ford, listening in Hawaii there, September 61. Those are the Vells, a group out of Vicksburg, Mississippi, on the Trepco record label. It's called the record on the record it says Mysterious Teenage, but if you listen, he says Mysterious Teenage. He's kind of like says it on a little bit of a lag. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we're starting to wind down here. I got to get these other records in. I really got to sign off at midnight here tonight, but we are in 1961. Let's go to the Laurie record label out of New York City, although this group is from Richmond, Virginia. This is a request for listener Ronnie Sherman. Let me see, what does it say here? But they somehow, this group somehow met Benny King, who suggested they come to New York and find fame and fortune, and they named themselves after a street in Harlem, New York. They were known as the Jarmels, and this they had 6 releases on the Laurie record label. Of course, you know their signature song, their second release was called A Little Bit of Soap. This is there. It doesn't say which one this is. Doesn't say which one it is. Oh, no. They followed it up with this tune. There you go. This is their third release. It features Paul Burnett on lead. This is by request for Ronnie Sherman. I do like this record here. November 61, the Jarmels on Laurie. It's called I'll Follow You for Ronnie.
Anywhere on earth you may go.
Well, you know I'm gonna follow you
Through the rain, all over the snow.
all through the snow now. You know I'm gonna follow you, no sea could be too wide. You know I'm gonna cross the great divide just to be at your side. Oh my, oh whoa, my darling.
Distance cannot keep us apart.
Well, you know I'm gonna follow you,
Sheltered by the love in my heart.
love in my heart now. You know that I will see you through wherever you may be. You know that you can depend on me.
Night and day till eternity.
Well, you know I'm gonna follow you. Well, wherever you may be, you know that you can depend on me.
Night and day till eternity.
Well, you know I'm gonna follow you wherever you may be. You know that you can depend on me.
Night and day till eternity.
Well, you know I'm gonna follow you. No secret be too wide, my darling. You know that I would cross the great divide. Every day and every night I'm gonna follow you, baby. All through the snow now.
That's the third release on the Laurie label for the Jarmels. Paul Burnett, the lead singer on that. That's going out to Ronnie Sherman, November 61. I'll Follow You. We follow this up with another 45 here as we go out to California with this request for Timothy, this group out of Los Angeles on Lummy Fowler's Lumtone record label. The tune written by the label owner. It has a female lead with male group backing. The female lead on this is Fritz Basket. And this is from August of 1961. Let's give a listen to the Upfronts. The Upfronts on Lummy Fowler's Lumtone record label. This is for Timothy. It's called When You Kiss Me. That's going out to Timothy in our YouTube chat room on Lummy Fowler's Lumtone record label, August 61 release. For the upfronts, female lead, Fritz Basket on lead, When You Kiss Me. Lots of different leads for the upfronts. They got some pretty rare records, and I'll get more on a future Vinyl Treasure show. Let's move into 1962. We go to Philadelphia with this request for Sugar Bear Sterling in our YouTube chat room. This group is of Latino origin. This one came out on the Philadelphia Big L record label. They are called the Cosmos. I like both sides of this record, by the way. The Cosmos from 62 on Big L. This is for Sterling. It's called Angel, Angel.
Angel, angel, ooh, angel, angel, ooh. Why was I such a fool?
'62 release there, going out to Sugar Bear Sterling, the Cosmos. The Cosmos on Big L Records. Angel, Angel is the name of that tune. We stay in 1962. We go to New York City to Morty Craft's Trans Atlas label, and this is a request for listener Jimmy Amato in our YouTube chat room. The group is called the Sedates. The Sedates from 62. The song is called Girl of Mine for Jimmy Amato.
Bum 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 diddle bum hit diddle bum diddle wop bum hit diddle bum diddle bum diddle wop. Girl of mine, I love you so. You're like the stars above. I want you to know. Whoa, it's still fine to know you're mine.
As by request for Jimmy Amato, the Sedates from 62. It's on the Trans-Atlas label, Girl of Mine. It's a hard 45 to find, that is for sure. And we stay in 62, actually July 62, for this request for listener Butch Ford of this group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, the lead singer of this, he was a baritone, previously a member of the Charms, Otis Williams and the Charms, and he was actually Otis Williams' cousin. Now, when the Charms broke up, he formed his group, this group called the Contenders, and it says the Contenders with the Matadors. Now, this is on the Saxony label, a label out of Cincinnati, Ohio, local to the group, and it's a request for Butch Ford, July 62, Raleigh Willis, and the Contenders on Saxony Records. This is also an expensive record. I bought this from Ralph Barton at one of the Allentown, PA shows a long time ago. It's called Whenever I Get Lonely. This is for Butch.
What though the radiance which was once so bright be now forever taken from my sight, though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind. Whenever I get lonely from my daydreams of you, these words I read remind me of a love we once knew. They tell of all the happiness of days gone by, and I read them till they dry the tears that come to my eyes. I know those days are gone and are a part of the past, but memories and dreams of them forever will last. Now I must learn to realize you're no longer mine, for the poetry will comfort me with every night. I tell myself, you're thinking of me each time I think about you. But still I know it never could be. We told you to forget her, I guess that's what I'll do. And so when I get lonely from my daydreams of you, these words I read remind me of a love we once knew. Then I must learn to realize you're no longer mine, for the poetry will comfort me with every night. What though the radiance which was once so bright be now forever taken from my sight? Nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower. We will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind.
That's out of Cincinnati, Ohio there. That's by request for Butch Ford. I haven't played that in a long time. July 1962 release on the Saxony label. Raleigh Willis, Raleigh Willis. Johnny G losing his mind tonight. And the Contenders there, song entitled Whenever I Get Lonely. Whenever Johnny G gets lonely, I tune in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's going to do it for Johnny G and Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to these cool 45s out of my collection. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. You can send me your requests. You can talk to me about the show. You can tell me some cool records you enjoyed. DJs always love to interact with the listeners, and I do interact with a lot of you. Thank you for your emails. It's great to read them. Sometimes I'm a little bit busy, but I may get back to you a little later than I anticipate, but I always will. So thank you all for tuning in this evening. And if you missed any of the show here on YouTube, at least the visual, it'll be up momentarily as soon as I shut down. It's usually available. If you want to download the stream, or just listen to just the stream, you can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. I know a lot of people go to that website to download the show, but you can go there. But I will be back next Saturday night beginning at 9 o'clock right here on YouTube. My next show will be Wednesday evening. It's an all 60s show, mainly soul 45s out of my collection. That again begins at 9 o'clock. I'll be live on Oldies and More Radio and also here on YouTube with the visual. So if you like soul music, you can tune into that show on Wednesday evening. But that's going to do it for tonight, folks. I have a closer, though. The closer tonight is going out as a request for Ryan Heisey, and this is one half of the Righteous Brothers, although both were involved with this song, as the tune was written by Bill Medley, but the vocal here is by Bobby Hatfield. This came out on the Moonglow record label in April of 1963. It was also reissued again in June of 66 as a B-side to one of their Moonglow releases. But this is a great tune here. Bobby Hatfield and group from April 63 on the Moonglow label. It's called I Need a Girl. That one there going out to Ryan Heisey. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Remember, if you're finding out about the show tonight, tell your friends about it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell there to get all notifications when Johnny G goes live. You'll get an email sent to, you've got to be registered on YouTube, unfortunately. So tonight there were 224 people that came into the show that were not signed in to YouTube, but they were able to visually view the show. They can't really comment in chat, and they can't click like or any of that. You got to really be registered on YouTube, and that's okay if you don't want to, but you can still send Johnny G an email. That is very, very important. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help. Couldn't do the show without Charlene, as we're both getting back into the swing of things. Want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday night right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Just want to say, everybody, so long for Ryan.
I need a girl to love. Please send a girl from the heavens up above. I want to love. I want to belong to someone. Oh, I'm lonely. There must be a girl in this world for me. If she is far away, I'll swim any sea just to kiss her, hold her, and love her, and whisper tenderly what's so tenderly. Love is too strong for any man to hide. That's why I need a girl now, just to stand
I want to belong.